single one. Emily never imagined that a quiet November evening, gray and misted with Seattle rain, could so abruptly rewrite the rhythm of her life. She had spent the day lost in the ordinary. A meeting at work, dinner prep, a stack of laundry waiting for Michael to finish. Yet, as she opened her front door, everything shifted. There stood her younger sister, Claire, clutching a small suitcase, eyes tired, and shoulders weighed down by an invisible burden. Emily's chest tightened with an emotion she hadn't felt in years, a mixture of surprise, worry, and a pang of something she thought she had long buried. The porch glistened with raindrops, the faint tapping against the wooden boards like a gentle insistence urging her to act, to decide. She hesitated. Not because she didn't care, but because the past, with all its unresolved arguments and quiet resentments, still lingered between them. And yet, they were sisters. Family, Emily knew, had a way of finding its way back into life, even in the most unexpected moments. Claire looked smaller than she remembered, her figure hunched as if carrying years of worry and disappointment. Then quietly, almost too softly to hear, she whispered, "Can I stay for a while?" It was a simple question, but Emily caught the weight behind it, the story she wasn't ready to hear, but couldn't ignore. Taking a deep breath, she stepped aside and opened the door wider. Claire entered, and the scent of cinnamon from the candles Emily had lit earlier filled the air. A fragile attempt at warmth and calm. Claire's eyes drifted across the hallway wall, lingering briefly on a framed photo of the two sisters from years past. Emily noticed the flicker of nostalgia and regret on her sister's face, and felt the uncomfortable tug of old emotions stir in her chest. Michael, Emily's husband, paused halfway down the stairs, holding a folded towel he had been bringing to the laundry room. His expression shifted from confusion to understanding as he took in the scene. Emily gave him a small, knowing look. "I'll explain later." He nodded and retreated, leaving them space. His quiet, adaptive nature was something Emily had always admired. Yet tonight, even his calmness couldn't soothe the turbulence she felt rising inside her. Claire set her suitcase near the wall and offered a fragile, hesitant smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. Emily returned it, though it felt awkward, stretched between concern and uncertainty. "You must be tired," Emily said, guiding her sister toward the guest room. Claire nodded, brushing a damp strand of hair from her face as she followed. Emily switched on the bedside lamp, its soft glow spilling across the neatly made bed. A bed Emily had never imagined would be used anytime soon. Claire paused at the doorway, as if taking a tentative step into safety, and whispered, "Thank you." Emily felt a strange warmth at those words. Gratitude or not, they symbolized a fragile bridge forming between them, a bridge they had both spent years neglecting. Once Claire had settled in, Emily returned to the living room. The house felt different. Everything looked the same, the muted light, the gentle hum of the heater, but something had shifted. The past had entered with Claire, slipping quietly among the furniture, layering the rooms with unspoken emotions. Michael approached, setting down the towel. "What happened?" he asked softly. Emily shook her head. Words weren't enough yet. "She needs a place to stay, and that was enough for now," she murmured. Michael didn't push. He simply placed a supportive hand on her back, grounding her. She moved toward the window, rain streaking the glass, blurred like the edges of her memory. She recalled the last real conversation with Claire, sharp, fleeting, unresolved. Yet none of that mattered anymore. Claire's troubles now outweighed old disagreements, and Emily's heart pounded, not with fear, but with responsibility. She had invited her sister into her home, knowing the emotional weight it might carry. That night, after Claire had retired to the guest room, Emily sat with Michael, the dim light casting long shadows across the living room. She felt a heaviness in her chest, the kind that comes from carrying years of unresolved family pain. "Something's hurting her, Michael," she said quietly. "And I'm not sure I can handle it alone." Michael listened, steady and patient, offering support without judgment. Emily asked him to be gentle with Claire, not distant, not cautious. She needed him to extend the same patience and care he had always shown her, ensuring Claire felt safe, seen, and understood. She confessed her own vulnerability, her fear of failing her sister, of not being enough. Michael reached for her hand, grounding her with a quiet, unwavering presence. "I understand," he said. "I'll do exactly what you need." Emily exhaled, the tension easing slightly. Even as she feared the emotional challenges ahead, she knew she wouldn't face them alone. Days passed. Claire's presence transformed the household, subtly, steadily. She moved quietly, tentatively through the spaces, sometimes retreating, sometimes observing. Emily watched, often silently, noting Claire's fragile moments, the glimpses of vulnerability she hadn't expected. Michael kept his promise. His small gestures, a cup of tea placed thoughtfully, a question asked with genuine curiosity, helping with minor chores, slowly opened Claire up. She began leaving notes of thanks, asking questions, allowing her guard to lower. Emily observed, often with a mix of relief, pride, and unease. The dynamic between them was shifting in profound, unexpected ways. One afternoon, Emily came home early. She found Michael and Claire laughing over a simple card game. The scene stopped her in the doorway. Claire's laughter was lighter, freer, as if a weight had lifted. Michael's attentiveness created a safe space for her sister's joy, and Emily felt the depth of her request for help reflected in this ordinary, extraordinary moment. The following week, Emily noticed subtle changes. Claire leaving little notes, asking gentle questions, her voice gaining strength, her presence becoming more relaxed. The house was alive with small gestures that spoke volumes. Emily realized Michael's steady kindness wasn't just helping Claire. It was illuminating the potential for healing in everyone, including herself. As the days blended into weeks, Emily observed the quiet transformation in her home. She felt her own emotions intertwining with those around her. Gratitude, vulnerability, pride, and a deep awareness of the fragility of these bonds. Michael's promise to be patient and present was not just being fulfilled. It was reshaping the very energy of their home. One evening, Emily stood in the doorway, watching Claire laugh at something Michael said. Tears pricked her eyes. She hadn't expected to feel such a mix of emotions: relief, joy, awe. She realized Michael's attentiveness had the power not just to comfort, but to teach, to show how empathy and patience could bridge years of distance and hurt. Later that night, Emily sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket Michael had placed around her shoulders. The rain fell softly, each droplet a grounding rhythm. She reflected on the past weeks. The laughter, the gestures, the healing unfolding in ways she hadn't imagined possible. Michael joined her, settling quietly beside her. "Everything at once isn't always bad," he said gently. "It just means you're feeling, really feeling. And I'm here. Always." Emily leaned into him, her breath steadying. She realized that opening her home, and her heart, had been transformative. Not just for Claire, not just for Michael, but for herself. The house was no longer merely a home. It was a sanctuary of empathy, understanding, and love. A place where old wounds could soften and new bonds could flourish. As Emily lay in bed that night, listening to the soft rhythm of the rain, she reflected on the subtle power of patience, kindness, and presence. Small acts could ripple outward, softening scars, connecting hearts, and transforming relationships in ways that words alone could not. She closed her eyes, grateful for her husband's steadfast support, for her sister's tentative trust, and for the courage to open the door that had once felt too heavy to lift. She knew challenges lay ahead, but she also knew that the foundation of love, empathy, and steady care they had built together could weather anything. The house, filled with quiet transformation, had become a place where human connection, in all its fragile, messy, and beautiful forms, could grow stronger every day. Fade out with soft rain sounds and gentle background music.